So in this video I'm going to show you how to remove a shaft. The main focus is the shaft that I'll be removing is actually it's a bore through shaft which is secured in by a screw, but also you can sometimes they can be secured in with brass pins. Now what I have here is it's a 1.2 metre piece of round bar. It's 6mm thick, but if you just have a look on the end, I actually have a 6mm drill bit attached. Now if I don't have a bore through shaft, I would, because to remove the shaft we can't put the heat on the outside, we put it on the inside, and we do that by heating up the end of this round bar and then inserting it down from the butt end of the grip shaft down into the hosel, and just wait for it to heat up, and then we can just take the shaft off like that. Also with brass pins, you have to actually, the way you remove them is you have to actually, either, if it wasn't a bore through, I would use this drill bit attached to my drill, and I would drill down and remove the pin from inside, and then I would just take a punch and then punch the remaining part of the brass pin into the shaft, and then obviously I would then heat this end up, insert it down, and like you would heat this up to it's basically glowing red, and then just insert it down into the shaft down where the hosel is, and I just let it sit there for maybe a couple minutes, and you'll be able to twist it off. But obviously this wood I've got is a bore through, so I'll be doing it a little bit different. But as I go through the process, of removing, so this is secured in with a screw. Normally you can generally just screw them out with a screwdriver, but I'm just going to show you a couple of ways in case sometimes that screw can already be threaded, or if you do thread it. I'm just going to show you a couple of ways of removing it if you do happen to thread it, and you have to look for an alternative to remove that screw. But like I said, with brass pins, you know, never try to drill them from the outside. You need to drill the actual pin out from the inside and then tap the remaining part of the pin in, and yeah, it's the only way you can remove brass pin, sorry, not brass pins, lead pins. Yeah, so because if you try to drill one from the outside, and this is how I had learnt the hard way, is a lot of times the drill bit will come off the pin and you'll end up screwing in the wood, and then you basically destroyed your wood. So I'll go through the whole process and show you all the different ways of doing it, and then that way you'll know what not to do and what to do. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to see if we can remove any like lacquer, just any excess fill inside the screw. Now looking at this screw, I did notice the whipping looked a bit strange, so I do think it's been reshafted, and the screw is not looking 100% on its thread. So just heat this up. And all we're going to do is just go through the screw and just see if we can just clean out anything in there, just so it helps us get a better grip with the screwdriver. Now usually these aren't epoxied in like the other screws are, so now we'll see how we go. And I'm just going to try and see if I can actually remove this with a screwdriver. I'll put some pressure in there. Now I think, yes, I've actually, have I got this? Yep, it is turning. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to put that back to where it was, and I could take that out with a screwdriver, but we're just going to say, for example, now we've threaded it, and what I'm going to do, just bump the camera there, that's fine. So the next thing we can resort to is using an easy out. So I've got my drill prepared. Now the one thing is, when you're drilling into this, we only want to use a slow speed. So we're just going to now we'll just see if we can get that easy out in there. See if we can get a bit of a grip with it. Okay, I'm just going to grab a different size easy out. That one is not quite catching. See if this one. Oh, my mistake there. Okay, just get that right again. So just try this one. See if we can get a bit of a grip. Doesn't seem to. It's very hard to tell if I'm actually getting that to grab. Now, that actually does feel like it's grabbed, so I'm just going to grab a shifter to see if we can just turn it out. No, it's just not. I'll try and drill that just a little bit more, but I can already see we are really getting in there. Right, we'll try that. I mean, I guess you can sort of get the idea of what I'm doing. Let's see if we can get that to. And now what I might just do, I'm still having a little bit of trouble. What I'm going to try and do is just bang it in with a hammer. Tighten that up in the vise. Let me just check. Okay. So we're just going to see if that helps. No. So that's not working. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drill. I'm just going to get a slightly bigger drill bit. And we're going to now, so we're going to drill the head out from the screw. And what we'll do is we'll come in through the bore end on the head. Once I've done this, and we'll drill the screw out on the inside, and then we'll just punch the the remaining part of the screw through. So now I just want to really right, so we've now done that. Okay, now you should just see I've already pre-punched a hole. I put a 5mm drill bit on. So we're just going to come in now and we're going to screw in from this end. I think we've just got in on the screw there. Dowell that was in. Now to check, we'll see what happens. So there's definitely still some screw, that's obviously what's left there. Just going to grab a punch. And hopefully, hammer, where's my hammer? There it is. Just tighten up the vise a bit more. Now hopefully we should be able to just bang the rest of this screw through. I'm pretty sure. Now we'll just run the drill through. Alright. Now we'll take a look. We'll see whether I'll punch that through or not. Okay. Now if I look through, yep, I can see the screw's gone down. So now that's how, either way, if we were doing a brass pin, I didn't have a bore through, I'd have to drill down through this way, and then the same thing, I would just punch it out. And but yeah, it's I mean, when it comes to shaft removal, if you got bore throughs, it does make it a lot easier. So the next bit is just to heat it up and see if we can get this head off. It should come off. We've definitely, I'll just give that a bit more of a clean. See how far in of, yeah, so we've gone in about that far. So the next thing now is we will heat up the end of, I won't use my 1.2 metre one, I've actually got another shorter one which this is a little bit thinner, so we should just check whether we can actually, so we're going to have to go up a bit more. Let's have a look. Alright, so lengthen this off a touch. We can go right in, and we'll see that wooden dowel's gone in there quite a bit. Now we want to at least come up to there, so let's see. So we're up to there. I don't think I can go any much further than what I am. We'll just haven't got much left on the drill bit. Alright, this is just the most I can now go. So just keep going again. And we'll see how, there you go, look at that. So that's perfect now, you can see that's going all the way up. So now all we got to just do is heat that up red hot, let it sit for a few minutes, and then we'll just twist the shaft off. Okay, so I got my bit of round bar heated up, but what you'll notice is I've put a hose clamp and I've secured it tightly at the end of the hosel, and that's just to try and prevent the wood from cracking. So I'm just going to insert this in, and we're just going to now let that sit for a few minutes. Okay, so it's been a few minutes now. Now the head should be ready to come off. Just put this down here, and let's see, there we go. And it's going to come off pretty easy, and no cracking of the head, so that's good. There we go, so that's all done. So next what I'll do is I'm just going to cut the shaft here square so I can show you how to recut the angle, and then we'll put the dowel in, and that'll pretty much be it. I'm not actually going to install this shaft. I think if you go to my second video it shows you how to install a shaft, but I've also done it like this, so you know, if you just want to do a reshaft, I'm basically just showing you how to do a reshaft. And yeah, so the next step, get the dowel in there, or cut it off, cut the angle, get the dowel in, and then that will basically be it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is mark the angle of the shaft here, and I've just put a piece of tape over it and cut it with an X-Acto knife. And all I'm going to do is just take a Sharpie, and the reason I put the tape in there is just so I don't get any of the texture on the wood. Now we'll just let that dry, and we will cut that off, and we might just have to run it on the linisher to just get it right, and then we'll put the dowel in, cut that back, and I won't actually be installing this shaft because I am going to be refurbishing this wood. and I think it's the second video I did, shows you how to install a shaft. Yeah, so basically we'll cut the I think I can take that out now. You can see it's left the angle there, so we'll take it over to the drop saw now and cut it. Okay, so we're ready to cut. Just going to line it up, and alright, we'll just we'll just clean it up on the linisher here, very lightly. We'll just take it out a touch, and see how I'll just pull the tape off. And let's just have a look, see how close we've got it. And looks like we just got to just take a smidge off, so we'll do that on the linisher. Another look. So there you go. I'll try and you can see got that in nice and flush now, so we'll put the dowel in, and then that's basically it. Okay, so we're ready to put the dowel in. Now if you can get, this is, I'm not sure what the width is, I think it's about 8mm. Yeah, it's an 8mm dowel. Now if you can get a persimmon dowel, use that. This is actually Tasmanian oak, but basically it's a hardwood dowel. Now obviously you can see I've tapered it off. So the first thing what I'm going to do is I've just prepared some araldite. Just going to put a little bit of araldite down in the shaft. Okay, that should be enough. And then what we're going to do is insert the dowel. I'm just going to take a hammer now, just going to gently tap that in. That should be enough. And just going to, no, that'll be alright. I'll just remove the excess off, and then we'll just now cut that off with a hacksaw. Okay, so I've got the hacksaw. I'm just going to come through now, straight in. And there we go. And we'll just clean that up. You can just clean that up now with a just on the linisher, or even just take, even if we just take a little bit of 180 grit sandpaper, and we can just come through, just clean that up like that. So there you go, we've got the dowel installed, and I'll just show you the next bit, because when you do install it, once installed, you will have to actually stain this bit here. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so what I've done again, I've put a piece of tape over. I haven't actually, this shaft's not installed. as I actually am going to be refurbishing this wood. So I mean, this is just for demonstration purposes. Now the reason I put that over there is there's two reasons. When I glue the shaft in, it makes it easier to clean the araldite. Now if I wasn't refurbishing this and I was just doing a reshaft, then what I would do is I'd take a Q-tip and I would get a stain that's basically the same as this, and then just using a Q-tip I would just put some stain in there just to match the colour. And you could, even if you want to, you could just spray some lacquer onto a bit of cardboard, dip it on that, and just to protect it. And that would basically be it for a reshaft. I wouldn't repin it, I would just fill that in with a bit of so where the pin hole is, I would just mix a bit of epoxy, mix a bit of stain in, and then just fill that out, and just get it so it's smooth and even. And yeah, that's basically it for doing a reshaft.